I'm going to show you guys a strategy I use to top tick and bottom tick the high or low today on NASDAQ. I've been using this strategy for about a year and I've pulled in a lot of money trading Apex and other CFD firms using just this strategy. And just so you know, I am not joking. This is an execution I took today. This was the low of the day. I was able to catch this 1 minute conversion gap after SMT occurred at market open, the manipulation lower, and I was able to offset my position on Apex, making me about a total of about 4K give or take on 50K accounts. So yeah, I've been doing this for so long. But I'm gonna walk you guys through the strategy right now and show you guys how I'm able to take trades and offset positions and catch high and low of the day. So first of all, on NASDAQ, we can mark out and wait to market open. At market open, we ideally want to see some kind of manipulation lower or higher to set the tone for manipulation. Then we see a distribution to the opposite direction. In this case scenario, we saw the NASDAQ today already on the 1 hour chart having going over here. We can see, taking out this, we can see we marked out this low from Thursday Asian low, and we can see price already mitigated it at London session, right? So obviously we don't trade London session, we avoid London session, we'll come back to New York time. So when we saw that, we saw the ES feeling to go below the Asian low, which is 16 o'clock low. That was already divergence showing we're bullish, and ES was a stronger pair and it was showing we're bullish. The same thing as the Dow Jones. Dow Jones failed to take out the 16 o'clock low all the way till market open. Is at market open, Dow Jones actually took out the low. So we had SMT because of the NQ and the Dow Jones took out those lows, but ES failed to go below those lows. When I saw that, you drop down to the 5 minutes to see any confirmation from market open and see what you can get. So already at market open, we saw pre-market 905 candlestick right here, the swing low, price failing to go below this low multiple times. But we saw the 99 on the NASDAQ, we saw at 905, we saw at market open the NASDAQ manipulated lower, showing divergence, and we saw another bearish candlestick showing manipulating another low. So two low candles that took liquidity back to back. So people that took this trade immediately, that caused the manipulation, that took the position that had that stop loss below this low, got offsetted and the stop loss was ran through. Obviously after you see some kind of liquidity sweep and this divergence, just like we saw between the NASDAQ and ES failing to go below this low, we saw you can see that the S&P failing to go below this low, the 905 low multiple times, but we saw the NASDAQ going below this low twice. So when we see that, we wait for some kind of 3 minutes or 1 minute inversion. We want to see price rebalance above bearish imbalance and retrace it. So it's gonna be like a push up and a pullback. So in this case, we wait for divergence on the 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour. In this case scenario, we see divergence on the 1 hour VES with NASDAQ going above those lows, and we also see divergence on the 5 minute with NASDAQ going below these lows, but the S&P failing to go below these lows, both on the 1 hour and the 5 minutes at market open. So obviously, ES was the stronger asset that we saw. We saw bullish price action from there. On NASDAQ, we saw those lows get taken, and what do I do when we see SMT twice, double SMT? I drop down to the 3 or 5 minutes, and we can frame a trade idea from this. This time, in this case scenario, there was no 3 minute inversion, and so what do? I drop down to the 1 minute time frame to find an entry. So after that 5 minute candlestick close, manipulate lower, this is the first gap. So ideally, normally you want to see price rebalance, tap into this gap and go lower, but just because we took out liquidity at this point, it was liquidity that was offsetted at this this lows right here, so price has already completed its targeted move downward. This is the manipulation that we can see some kind of rally upwards at market open at for the rest of the session during New York. So we had the manipulation lower at market open 9:30 because of the liquidity, taking out people that was in the trade early. Then we can see some kind of a distribution upwards, the reversal. So in this case scenario, we waited for 5 minutes to SMT, one on the 1 hour, one on the 5 minutes at market open. Then we can see the first fair value gap. Instead of trading it and going short, we instead inverse it. So once the candlestick close below the candle, which is right here, which is if you can see, this is the candlestick low and high, and we can see price, and we can see this is the low, and high, and we can see price, this candlestick closed below, and we saw this price candlestick trade back into this low, into the gap. And once you saw that, I triggered my position off of there, and I rode it all the way above this swing high and this here for a total of 4.6k across 20 Apex account, and a total of 1k on funding pips, and a total of 2k on Blue Guardian. So yeah, I rode this position all the way to these highs, and I had some CFD from the offset and some position over here too. And like I said, this is not Fugazi, this is my Twitter account, and this is what the P&L look like, and this is what the entry and exit look like. Like I said, price closed below the 1 minute inversion, and we saw price trade into this 1 minute, and this is where I triggered my position, and the offset in that position, like I said, on here. So yeah, pretty solid trade. This is a strategy I follow on day-to-day basics. If we get a double SMT, cool, that's really what I need. But really, if we get the 5-minute SMT by itself without like the 1 hour high time frame SMT, I'm also good. You know, it just all plays well perfectly with the strategy, and yeah, made some money today, we're good. But yeah, this is a strategy I follow to make multiple 5-figure payouts, and you know, get max funding with Apex and the rest.